Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and lots to talk about this morning. You may well have seen Cristiano Ronaldo arriving again at Carrington and in his Lambo. It's alright for some, isn't it? But he deserves it. He's one of the greatest players to have ever played the sport, and he is going to be playing for Manchester United on Saturday. In what context? We'll talk about that. But good news around Cristiano Ronaldo, second day of training, still 2 more days of training to come. I think you know where we're going with this. Spoke to a couple of people this morning and a good update around Ronaldo. Also talking about McTominay, I want to talk about that. A very interesting debate we'll have around McTominay. And I'm seeing a lot of this is United's best team at the moment. And I'm seeing a lot of Scott McTominay in the number 6, which I think is wrong. But we'll talk about that. I want to get your opinion on that. And also Anthony Martial. Do want to talk about Anthony Martial. Martial's last chance at Manchester United. Have you realised that actually France have played 3 important games and Martial started 2 of them and played very, very well for France? Now, you know what? We're not talking about Andorra here. We're talking about France. He's playing as a starting player for France in their last 2 games, both of which were very important games for them. So look, how does Martial fit in? We're talking about Lingard last night, who's playing against Andorra for England. You know, he won't sign a new contract. You've got Anthony Martial there, big season for him. Should we be talking about Anthony Martial a little bit more? Or are people just ignoring him because they've given up? Because you know what? If it was any other United player starting for France, everyone would be going, oh, what a player, what a player. Great performance from Bruno last night. Just wanted to mention, says Daniel Kirk. And disagree with your tweet about Ollie needing to find Martial opportunities. How many opportunities does he want? Should have been sold just like Lingard, says Ben Anderson. Straight in there with Ben. He wants to get into the Martial debate. Rub your hands. Rub your hands. We're looking forward to that. I'm always up for this. I hope people are going to get involved in the McTominay debate as well with this same passion. But let's start off about Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo, well actually not, let's not start off with Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's start off with something I'm about to show you on the screen, which clicks it. There we go. We are sponsored by the One Football app today. I use the One Football app all the time for my Manchester United news and football news in general. You can download it for free. The link is in the video description. It's on Apple and Android. One Football is an awesome way for getting all your live scores, all your football transfer news, all your stats, all your player ratings, and all your up-to-date content surrounding your favourite club and leagues. And as you know, if you've watched the United Stand for a while, I've been using One Football for a while, and it's an awesome spot to keep up to date with all your sports news, as I said. So what are you waiting for? Head to the link in the video description and download it for free using the link in the description below. What I would say about the One Football app, just very quickly as well, is that for anybody who watches my watch-alongs, I do them on That's Football and on the United Stand as well. One Football is a really good app to use for, like, you know, getting your updates, because I find that some of the mainstream media's, you know, Saturday shows aren't actually that quick, and One Football is quicker, what I find on my app. So link in the video description for that. Make sure you download it. Football's back at the weekend. One more night of the international break and then we're into it. Tomorrow we'll have previews. Friday we'll have Ollie's presser. It's getting exciting. It's getting very exciting. So download the link in the video description for One Football. It's available for free on Apple and Android. Now we can talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and all the other things I want to talk about today. United released their training footage on YouTube and Hannibal Mabry skinned Fred, says Lucas. You know, I see what you did there. I watched that footage yesterday. It wasn't lost on me that Fred skinned Donny and scored. And I thought, I know what they're doing there. This is a prime marketing tactic. Fred ain't that bad. Why? You know, Donny van der Beek scored some good goals in training yesterday. We didn't get a clip of that. We got a clip of Donny being skinned by Fred. That's edited by the Manchester United marketing, commercial, communications department, whatever you want to know. Somebody somewhere thought it's a good idea to have Donny being skinned by Fred. Could have had a goal by Donny, you know, just saying. We see you. We see what you're trying to do. Donny's chances of starting against Newcastle. I like Martial, but can sympathise with those that feel he's had his chances, says Sam Brox. And hey, Mark, Viva Ronaldo. Well, Sam, we're going to be talking about Martial. I think we're going to get into a good debate with him. So everyone get involved in that in a moment. But let me just give you the update on Cristiano Ronaldo. Arrives in his Lamborghini today, training with Manchester United for the second day in a row. Intensity will go up now, but he's still got 2 more days of training. The story we had yesterday, as I said, came from the Sun, and a lot of people have said Sun in the bin and all that lot. No problem with that. Not a big fan of the Sun like most people. But as I said, the journalist who wrote it, Neil Custis, has been in and around Manchester United for a very long time. And I don't ignore what he says. Doesn't mean he's right, but sometimes he is right. And he said that there's, basically was hinting that Ronaldo wouldn't start on Saturday because he'd only get 1 training session. What we're talking about there is 1 training session with Maguire and Shaw, because Bruno, Pogba, I don't think they'll be back today, but they'll be back tomorrow. So that's 2 days training with them. So effectively, you're not going to play Ronaldo on Saturday because he's only had 1 training session with Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire and Jesse Lingard. Well, with all due respect, Jesse shouldn't start, and Maguire and Shaw are defenders. Ronaldo is training with most of the players that you can play with on Saturday, i.e. Greenwood, Sancho, Cavani, Pogba and Bruno back tomorrow. Donny's been training with him as well. So there's a lot of players that are training with Ronaldo. Now, what I was told this morning is that, look, at the end of the day with Cristiano Ronaldo, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't be any happier. He's so happy. He's walking around like a Cheshire cat. I don't know why Cheshire cats smile a lot. If anyone lives in Cheshire and you've seen a cat, why are they so happy? But I don't even know if that's the saying. But why are the cats so happy in Cheshire? Anyway, Ronaldo, Manchester United. Ollie's very, very happy. He's over the moon. The training has been done. There is no... what I was told this morning is there is no way Ronaldo doesn't start on Saturday unless it is a club decision and Ollie goes down for it, or it's a Ronaldo decision and Ollie goes with it. But ultimately what I was told this morning is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will pick Ronaldo on Saturday unless there is something that says that he can't pick him on Saturday, in which case he's overruled, isn't he? Now, he could be overruled by Ronaldo saying, I don't want to start, I'd rather come on as a sub, or he could be overruled by the club saying, I think it's a better idea not to start him and have him walk out on the pitch. But what I was told this morning is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is here to win a Premier League title. That's what he wants to do. Ronaldo is his star. Ronaldo has trained all week. And Ronaldo walks straight into any Premier League team, let alone Manchester United. So Ronaldo will start on Saturday. There is no issue about fitness. There is no issue about integration. He's ready. He's as fit as anybody else. And he can start that game. And if there is a problem, he can come off after an hour. But he'll start that game on Saturday unless Ronaldo says, I'd rather not start. I'd rather come on as a sub. Or as I said, the club say, actually, we'd like him to walk on the pitch before the match like Varane and then go on the bench. And then we get 2 big moments, which I think is potentially risking 3 points. Although I don't think it will, because I think we'll beat Newcastle even with without Ronaldo. I think we will do. But I'd be very confident he's going to start on Saturday. And as I said yesterday, another bit of evidence around this. Remember Lukaku came to Chelsea and he started training on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. And he started on the weekend. Now, it's exactly the same thing. But actually, Ronaldo's had more game time, competitive game time than Lukaku had at that point, because that was right at the start of the season. So Ronaldo should start on Saturday unless there is some pre-plan in there. But what I would say on that is Solskjaer will want to start him on Saturday. If he doesn't start him on Saturday, he should start him on Saturday. He's the boss. He shouldn't be bending over for anybody. Even if Ronaldo was to say, I'd rather not start, I want to come on as a sub, I'd be like, no, you're starting, mate. I want you to start. I want to get you integrated into this team ASAP. We've got tougher games than Newcastle at home to come. We've got West Ham in the Premier League in a week's time. I want you starting, getting used to playing with these players ASAP. And I want to start you, Cristiano. So I think he will start, and I think the indications are good. And that bonus day we got yesterday of him training, it's hard training again today. And the feedback from training, I know people have seen the pictures and everything like that. The feedback from the training is that there's, he's not behind anybody or anything like that. When he's doing the sprints and he's doing the ball work and everything like that, you can already see that he's on a different level to everybody else. So Cristiano Ronaldo, there's no issues about that. There's no issues about what we don't want to hear from Solskjaer on Friday, which would be a big hint, is he's still adjusting this, that, and the other. It's the Premier League. It's not fucking the Super Bowl. Like he's the world's best player with Messi. He doesn't need to adjust to the Premier League. It's not like that. It's not that deep. The Premier League is the best league in the world, I think, but we don't go and play French teams or Spanish teams or German teams and Italian teams and absolutely obliterate them. I think we're stronger, but I don't think this adjustment thing is actually true. And as we've seen other clubs who don't do this adjustment thing. So Ronaldo walks straight in, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. And I want to talk about Anthony Martial now. So Cristiano Ronaldo has arrived at training this morning. We believe that he will start on Saturday. Very strong belief that that's going to happen now, unless something happens in relation to Ronaldo not wanting to, or the club wanting to do some big fanfare. I think the club always should have just done a big announcement video tomorrow. A massive announcement video with Sir Alex Ferguson on the pitch. You know, it's an empty Old Trafford. The lights sort of flicker. It goes black and white. It goes black and white. And Sir Alex is looking around. And then Ronaldo walks down the tunnel in red. And everything else is black and white. And as he walks towards Sir Alex, the crowd's filling up. And the grass is going green. And it's colour, colour, colour until they embrace. And then everything's colour and it's a packed Old Trafford. Be amazing. Happy birthday to Bruno Fernandes, says S. Ahmed. Yep, happy birthday, Bruno. You don't leave Lewis Hamilton sat on the side of the track and let Goldbridge drive the car. Play Ronaldo simple, says Joshua Bellwater. Mate, I'd actually probably be a better driver than Hamilton. I think he actually knows that. I think that's probably what inspires him, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's talk about Anthony Martial. Then I want to talk about McTominay, because I think there's two really good debates to be had here this morning. So at the end of the day, Anthony Martial is facing, as we already know, it's his last chance at Manchester United. Terrible season last year, very good season the year before. What is the season ahead for Anthony Martial, and where does he sit in the rankings at Manchester United at the moment? Because I think many people would say the number 9 is Ronaldo and Cavani, the right hand side is Sancho and Greenwood, and the left hand side is Rashford. Potentially Sancho can play there, Pogba has played there, and also let's not forget Jesse Lingard. So where is Anthony Martial's place at Manchester United? And you might get people like Ben Anderson who say, who cares where his place is at Manchester United? He's had his chances, he can do one. What I would say to that one straight away is, I hear people saying start Lingard against Newcastle. I mean, he's had more chances than anybody, and actually has done less in a Manchester United shirt than Anthony Martial. Martial's had a better Man United career than Jesse Lingard, and people go, oh, what are you talking about? He scored a goal in a cup final. I'm telling you now, think about it. Martial's done more in a Man United shirt than Jesse's done, and yet people are like, yeah, give Jesse another chance. So why is Martial not allowed another chance then? And I pose the question there, is this the bias media? Is this infiltrating and infecting our fans now? Well, he's from France. He doesn't deserve another chance, but Jesse does because he's from the youth. I'm telling you now, I don't see any different. I think Lingard's had more chances than Martial has, and I think Martial does deserve a chance this season. What I would say is, though, does Ollie see him getting a chance this season? Look, I'm a massive fan of Martial. I can't be unbiased about that. I am a massive fan about him, but I also said last year he was trash. And I always put Manchester United before a player. I don't believe in Ronaldo FC or Messi FC or Pogba FC. I believe in Manchester United FC. That's what I believe in. And I'll always put the club before any player. And if Bruno starts playing badly, I'll say drop him. One of my favourite players. Ronaldo the same. You've got to go for the club, in my opinion. And Martial last year was not good. He wasn't good. But I still believe he's a very, very good player. And what's interesting for me is that when you monitor this international break, there's not a lot out of that international break that we can take as positive for United. We've had a few players who couldn't play, injuries, etc. We've had a few crappy games as well that didn't really matter. David De Gea, I don't think he's played any games for Spain, has he? I mean, I've not took any notice of Spain, but I don't know what's the point in, David De Gea's having a great season and he's going away on international duty to be a bloody reserve keeper for some prat he's better than. But ultimately, when you look at Anthony Martial's international break, he was on the bench against Bosnia, came on, starts against Ukraine and starts against Finland, and plays very well in both the games that he starts. And they're all international World Cup qualifiers for France, and they're not straightforward. They're not Andorra. They're not like what Lingard was doing, Andorra. This is like Finland, this is Ukraine and Bosnia. And Deschamps, who's been very critical of Martial, has sometimes dropped him, sometimes doesn't pick him. He's brought him straight back in and he's used him. And I think, you know what? Ollie's got a lot of problems with this inflated squad, but now is the time to use Martial. I would be tempted to start Martial on the left against Newcastle because I think he's hot. And I hope that United are awake to that. I think he's hot, he's ready to go, and he's a better player than Martial. Sorry, he's a better player than Lingard. He's a better player than Mata. He's a better player than Dan James. He might be a better player for us. Well, he's a better player than Rashford at the moment because Rashford's injured. He might be better for us than Sancho at the moment. And I think Martial, I can't demand it, but I think that I'm surprised that people aren't talking about it more, because he is ready to go and he is performing really well. And he has performed really well for France, and he's fit and he's ready to go. And I think we should I think we should be using him. My fear is that we won't use him over the next month, and he might lose his French squad. He's in a very similar position to Jesse, actually. But I actually think Martial should be ahead of Jesse, and I would start Martial. So I don't know what people's thoughts are on Martial. I just wanted to open up the debate. Love the show, Mark. Love from India. Has the issue over game broadcast been sorted out for the UK? Would hate fellow United fans from the UK to suffer? No, Sarab. We can't watch it. We haven't been able to watch it for years. I opened up a little bit of can of worms about that. I'll talk about that in a moment, actually. Martial was good for France last night. Yep, he's done very, very well. Beckham says he's better than Rashford, irrespective of Rashford's injury. I like that comment, because although I don't want to get in the Martial versus Rashford debate, that is a debate when Martial gets back to his best. And that's how good Martial can be. And I suppose that's my point. Have United fans written him off and want him gone? Or are we still open to the fact that he is a very, very good player, and we shouldn't forget about him because we've got new shiny toys like Sancho and Ronaldo? I think there is a place for Martial, but it goes back to what we've spoken about so many times. Me and Levin were talking about Lingard last night. You know, we've got Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho, Ronaldo, Cavani, Bruno, Pogba. You've got 7 players for 3 positions, well, 4 positions really. Then you've got Martial, Lingard, Mata. You know, you've got 10 players and Donny as well. So it's going to be really difficult for these players to get game time. And I just wonder where Ollie ranks Martial. But if I was Ollie this week, I'd be like very tempted to start Martial, because now is the time. And if you don't use him, you might lose that confidence and buzz that he's got about him. I'm a big believer in, you know, form is very important. You know, we saw at the end of last season, Rashford, Bruno, 2 of my favourite players. Yeah, you're picking them on talent, but you're not picking them on form. They were burnt out. And I think that coming back from this international break, some people are saying, oh, start Jesse because he did well against Andorra. Well, 1, he won't sign a new contract, and 2, it was Andorra. I think Martial is under a longer contract and actually has done more in more impressive games, and he's a better player as well. But nobody's talking about starting Martial. Everyone's talking about Donny and Ronaldo, and I understand that, but no one's talking about Martial. And I think that he could be a really important player if we catch it right. I mean, look, what I'm saying is, you go into that Newcastle game, you've got Greenwood off the right, who's on fire. You've got Ronaldo up through the middle, who's a superstar. You've got Martial on the left, who's on form and ready to go as well. You know, put Donny in the midfield. I think you've just got I think we can blitz Newcastle and get some real buzz going. But, you know, we'll probably see McTominay and Fred and Lingard on the left, and, you know, Ronaldo on the... I don't know. What I'm saying is, we don't know what Ollie will do, because no one ever knows what Ollie's going to do. But I do think Martial shouldn't be confined to the draw of he's no good anymore. His passing and hold-up play was magnificent against Finland, says NYYK. How's my profile pic, says Shard. And Sancho on the left, Mason right, Ronaldo up front. Also not sure why people think striker is Ronaldo's only position, as he can easily play on the left wing as well, says Danny King. I disagree, Danny, on Ronaldo there. I mean, he's not that player anymore. When I think about Ronaldo now, I think about goals. When I think about a left winger, I think about, yeah, he can score a goal, but you've got to be creative as well. I think Ronaldo's creative side is gone, because I think Ronaldo is 36. He's one of the best players in the world. He's done all that, and, you know, he lives off goals. That's what Ronaldo lives off now. That's his life, and he's worked hard to get to that position. I don't think he needs to go back on the wing for United. If he wants to go back on the wing for United, then fine. You know, let him do it. But I don't think that's what Ronaldo wants to be, and I don't think that's what we're going to use him as. I've heard all sorts of things about Ronaldo being a winger, being a support striker, this, that, and the other. Oh, he can't play number 9 on his own because his hold-up play isn't good enough. And I'm like, you're talking about one of the world's best players. We're not talking about Lukaku, who, when he came from Everton, good goal scorer, but his hold-up play is a bit dodgy. And, you know, Ronaldo, I don't know who said that yesterday, but I almost bloody choked on my coffee. I was like, Ronaldo's hold-up play isn't good enough to play up front on his own. I think he's played up front on his own for Portugal, Juventus, Real Madrid at times. Yeah, he needs people close to him, and I think Bruno will get close to him. But look, you know, Ronaldo plays as a number 9 for me. But I do think we're going to have to adapt how we play. We may still play a 4-2-3-1, we may go and try and get 2 up front. We might go to a back 5. We don't know what we're going to do, but I do think there's going to be some surprises ahead, and I think it's very exciting. But on Martial, I don't know what we're thinking, but on Martial for me, I mean, look, the way he played yesterday, he played in a front 2 with Benzema against Finland yesterday. So, you know, Martial and Ronaldo might work quite well. But the only thing for me is if you play a 2 up front, you lose your wingers, because 2 up front means we'll play 5 at the back. But it's a lovely problem to have, says Jack Birtles. All I would say is, and everyone can make their own mind up, is that on Martial, I wouldn't write him off. And I think some people have written him off. And actually, as I said, if this was Jesse Lingard or Marcus Rashford or Scott McTominay, and they were French and they'd played the last 2 games for France, everyone would be going, get him in the team! Get him in the team! Oh, what a great player they are! Well, Martial has started the last 2 games for France and played really, really well. France are one of the best international sides in the world. They've certainly got one of the best squads in the world, which makes it more impressive. If France had no strikers, you'd be like, well, they've got no strikers. France have got loads of options, and Martial has started both games. And I think that is a real indication that this is a player that's in form, confident, and hot. And I think you need to utilise those sort of players. So it'd be interesting to see what Ollie does with Martial. He's only got really 2 games where he can use his squad. And people keep saying, I've got loads of games coming up. The Carabao Cup game isn't for another 2 weeks against West Ham. That's 2 weeks of not using people. They'll go cold. You need to keep them hot. It's like when you've cooked yourself a nice microwavable lasagna. If you don't eat it straight away. It'll take your bloody tongue off. But, you know, it's got a perfect heat. If you leave it too long, it'll go cold. You've got to put it back in the microwave again. So Martial's hot. I would be starting him or using him against Newcastle or the Swiss side. One of the 2, you've got to start him, because if you don't, you won't start him against West Ham away, and then it's Carabao Cup, and it's like, Carabao Cup, you know. If we play 4-1-3-2, we can play Pogba left, Bruno, Sancho right, Greenwood and Ronaldo together, says Karan Shreds. Well, there are options. Let's wait and see what happens. The next player I want to talk about is... what about his performance at Southampton, says Ben? It was crap against Southampton. But you know what? I think against Southampton, he was probably... we played Southampton 2.5 weeks ago. And I think what we've seen is that... And I think a lot of people who watched Martial against Southampton, and he wasn't the only player. Fred was worse than everybody and started the next game. You can't individualise a performance and go, oh, Martial didn't play well against Southampton, so let's bin him off for the whole year. We picked Fred in the next bloody game, and he was shite against Southampton. And also, I think 2.5 weeks later, a lot of players are a lot fitter. You can't write him off for that. And also, the evidence, Ben, is the fact that he started for France in the last 2 games. So why are you going back to Southampton 2.5 weeks ago? You know, I get it, Ben. You don't rate Martial. That's your right. That's your opinion. I do. I hope he's given opportunities. Because I said it in the summer. There was 2 players I picked in the summer. I said Martial's going to prove a lot of people wrong this season, and so will Wan-Bissaka. And I still believe that. What I would say is, with Ronaldo coming into the team and Lingard staying, it makes it a lot harder for him to get opportunities. And that's what I'm saying. I hope he gets the opportunities, because he can't just be ignored because you'd rather pick other players. I hope he's given a chance on his ability, because I think his ability supersedes a lot of our players. And I liked that comment from the person who said Martial at his best is better than Rashford at his best, because I think that's the debate we always used to have, but we haven't had for a while because Martial fell off. Anyway, let's talk about this number 6 situation as well. We're having some good debate this morning. Make sure you smash a like on the video. I will never, ever speak about this nonsense. In fact, you can go in a timeout for that. I'm bored. I'm absolutely bored. In fact, well done to Brandon for timing out the twat who said Martial's got a bad attitude and is lazy. I mean, have you had him round for Sunday dinner? Or are you just going to be part of them? Are you going to be conned and manipulated by the lazy media in this country who see a player that doesn't smile and decide that they're lazy and have a bad attitude? Lazy comments. Anyway, let's move. Let's talk about Scott McTominay. I'm seeing a lot of best 11s. Some for the Newcastle game, some for United generally. And I wanted to bring this in. I think it's a really important debate. And we've had the Martial debate. We're going to have another debate here. Really enjoying these sort of things on the show. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and smash a like on the video. This is what we do. I'm seeing a lot of 11s with Scott McTominay as the number 6. He's our best number 6. And I'm seeing a lot of these. This is the ideal numbers. This is the ideal team with McTominay in it. And I think, look, personally, I think it exposes people's lack of football knowledge. I really do, because I don't know where the evidence is for this. I'm being told that McTominay's our best number 6, having never seen him play very well there. And the 2 brilliant games that I've seen Scott McTominay play in the last 8 months have both been against Leeds. Leeds at the start of the season, Leeds back at Christmas. And he played as a number 8. He got forward. Every time. And look, a lot of people say, oh, well, you don't like McTominay, this, that and the other. I don't dislike McTominay. I just don't really get whether he's a good enough player to start for Manchester United. And at the moment, I would probably say no, because I think Pogba's a better 8. I think I'd like to see Donny given a chance. And for me, that's McTominay's position. I think he's the perfect bench player. I wouldn't sell him. I think he's the perfect bench player. But for me, he's definitely a number 8, because every time I've been impressed by him is when he's broken forward, got shots off, got in the box. You don't do that as a number 6. Jorginho doesn't get in the box. Fabinho doesn't get in the box. Rodri doesn't get in the box. They might get to the edge of the box sometimes when they're playing a low block and they might have a shot. But I like McTominay when he breaks into the box, when he runs past Bruno. That's what a number 8 should do. And that's where I see the best out of McTominay. So it surprises me, and I wanted to bring it into the show this morning, that I'm seeing a lot of best 11s with McTominay at 6. And I'm like, I've never seen McTominay play well as a 6. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe it's a predictor. Maybe people see something in him in that position. But here's the rub. If everybody's putting McTominay as a 6 and saying, oh, he's the answer as our 6, are they doing it just because Fred's been shit and Matic is finished? Or are they doing it because they think that's where he's been playing well for United? Because it's not where he's played well for United. He's played well as an 8. A lot of last season he played as a half 6 with Fred, where they just sat there in front of the back 4. But I think McTominay's an energetic player. And I think you don't need to be energetic as a 6, because your role is to be positionally sound and move the ball. I don't think that's McTominay. I think he's a go-getter. I think he's got a good shot on him. I think he's a number 8. And I would say this as well. If we're now saying McTominay's a 6, is that not just the same as saying, well, Pogba and Donny are a 6? In which case, why don't we just try Donny at 6? Or Pogba at 6? Well, Pogba won't want to play there, but Donny says he will. I don't get why McTominay's now our best number 6, having never played well there and played all his good games as an 8 when he's allowed to get forward. I don't know. What do people think? Why is it? Try and convince me. Why can't Ollie switch tactics in game, says Adnan. If we need goals and need to create against the low block, switch to a 4-4-2 diamond with Matic sitting, Van der Beek and Pogba as 8, Bruno as 10, Cavani and Ronaldo up top. Well, Adnan, I think, on this very topic, we've identified the fact that we've got some very good number 8s. We've got Paul Pogba, who's a great number 8. We've got Donny, who we believe is a very good number 8. And we've got McTominay, who's played his best games as a number 8. There is a hint there. We've got quite a few number 8s. Maybe we should try and get, something out of that. No. Look, this to me is just something I'm seeing a lot on social media. This is definitely our best 11 now. McTominay as a 6, and I'm like, so this is a player that's best ability is his energy and ability to break lines and run past lines and get shots off. That's what I think about McTominay. He scored some good goals for us by breaking forward. Arsenal, remember that one? And yet I'm now being told, or we're now being showed all these best 11s with him as a 6. Number 6 is somebody who sits there in front of the back 4s and runs the game at a high tempo, who sees the danger, picks up the runners and positions themselves in a strong position. Now, McTominay doesn't pick up the runners very well, just like Fred. His passing is quite slow. He's the player who does that little spin on the ball and then pass it. And he hasn't really got a fast passing tempo either. And also, most importantly, as a number 6, he's not going to be allowed to run past Bruno and get in the box, because that's not the disciplined number 6 we need. So I just find it interesting that people keep going, oh, he's the best number 6. And I'm like, is it just people who just think Fred's shit and let's try somebody else? Or is it people who just don't understand what McTominay's strong traits are? Because if you put McTominay at 6, you stop 2 or 3 of his strongest traits, and that's my concern with it. Because it's like, I think Pogba could play at 6. I don't think he wants to do it, but if you do it, you're going to take away a lot of Pogba's strongest traits as well. Bellingham only as Pogba replacement, says Robin. Well, I like Bellingham, but it's going to be a lot of money. Mattia says anyone but Fred, and I think that might be why people are doing it, really. And Demir says, Mark, all the talk about midfield is in vain. Next game and every other game, Fred is starting. All of the players are hypothetical, as you like to say. I actually disagree with that. I think we might see McTominay play at 6. I actually think Ollie might do it. I think he might be planning on doing it. But then you had Levin last night saying it will be it will be Fred who plays. McDonagh is number 8, Pogba off left, Greenwood right, says Harry Kinnear. And McTominay is an average player, Newcastle level, says in the Tom Bill. McTominay is a better 90-minute player than Fred, Matic or Donny. Well, we don't know that, Swole, because Donny never gets 8 minutes, let alone 90. So I don't think you can throw Donny into that. I'd agree with you on Matic. I don't think Matic is a 90 player anymore. McTominay can pass it better than Fred. So can McGran. That's not a reason to play him out of position, is it? I don't think he is a number 6. I really don't. And K9 says that McTominay would struggle to start for most clubs in the Premier League. I don't know. I'm not turning it into that. I'm just saying that I think he's... and like Idiusu says, McTominay's a bit like Soucek. And I agree. I think he's a player that plays next to a 6 and gets forward. If you play him as the 6, he can't get forward. And that's my argument. Is like... I get told I'm not very fair on McTominay. I expect more from McTominay. That's the bottom line. I expect more from most Man United players at the moment because I don't think they're at the level we need them to be. But what I do know about McTominay is, because I watch every bloody game, is that when he's played well, is when he's allowed to go forward. Well, if you're number 6, you can't go forward. You can't do that. You've got to be disciplined. And I think you take away what he's good at. But if people are picking him there just because he's better than Fred, well, I think that's a bit of a naive thing to do. Because I can see a situation where you replace him with Fred and he starts making his own different types of mistakes. He's not closing down as quick as Fred does. Fred's many things bad, but he does close down the ball a lot quicker than McTominay does because he's quicker and he's more tenacious. So I think, if you take Fred out and you put McTominay in there, you're going to get a different set of problems. If you take Fred out and you put Matic in there, you're going to get a different set of problems. I think the problem is we haven't got a number 6 and we know that. But Ollie thinks he has. Now, I'm going to be very interested what happens over the next few games because we need to play a number 6 and we need to play a number 8 and we need to move the ball quicker. So what Ollie does in that area over the next few games is going to be very interesting. And maybe it will be McTominay. Maybe it's McTominay that's going to do it. Maybe it's going to be Donny. I very much doubt it. Or maybe he'll just stick with Fred. Or maybe he'll give Matic another go. But I certainly don't... I'm not saying it's not going to work, putting McTominay there. I hope it bloody does work. I hope we have got a plan and I hope it does work. But I think the people who are saying that McTominay's our best number 6 are doing it off no evidence. They're just doing it on a hunch. And I don't like that sort of planning. I don't like hunch planning. And as I said, I find it a little bit interesting and I wanted to bring it into the show because, as I say, I see a lot of best 11s with McTominay at 6 from people on social media. And I'm like, do you watch the game of football? Have you watched McTominay play for the last 18 months? And tell me the amount of games he's played as a number 6 and ran the midfield and done well. His best games have been as a number 8 where he's allowed to break forward and run past Bruno. I can think of games like Crystal Palace 18 months ago when we played with Pogba and we were 1-0 down. I think we ended up winning at Selhurst Park. McTominay was awful as a number 6 and had to get taken off. I think we did it again last season with McTominay at 6 and he was awful. I don't think he's a number 6. I hope he can be a number 6, but I think he's a number 8. Mark, playing devil's advocate, Scott was one of our better players in Europa League final with Pogba, says Andy Harris. Well, yeah, and look, I agree with you. He actually played quite well in the Europa League final. But did we win the game? Did we create many chances? And that's what I mean. People talk about that Europa League final like he was playing like Prime Kante or Prime Jorginho. Ultimately, the tempo in that game was not good enough. We created hardly any chances. So I would say, well, yeah, he didn't play, out of many people, he didn't play badly in that final, but did we create many chances? And when are people going to start to realise that your number 6 has a massive part to play in how many chances you create? Because if they get the ball and they move it quickly, then you get the ball quicker to your attackers. You've got more space to create chances. So for everybody who says, well, our midfield played well in the Europa League final, we lost the bloody game. We scored a goal from a deflected sort of knocking around in the box corner, and we never took the initiative after that. We didn't play well in that final against Villarreal. We didn't. And we didn't create enough chances, and the tempo was slow. So when I think about tempo, I always go back to the midfield. And I don't think McTominay played badly in that final. I don't think Pogba played particularly badly either. But did we get hold of that game? Did we run that midfield? Did we win the midfield battle? Well, not really, because we didn't get the tempo going. So, this is the thing for me. The number 6 has got to move that ball fast. We've got to get the tempo up. And look, maybe McTominay can be the solution there. I hope he can. I hope Fred can be. I hope Matic can be. And I'd like to see Donny given a go if that's what Ollie wants to do. But ultimately, I don't agree with people who are going, McTominay's our best 6, because every game I've seen him play well, he's been an 8, not a 6. Hi, Mark. Seen you got a PS5 now, mate. Get in, says Martin. I know I need to set it up at some point. And Tal says, whether he's a 6 or an 8, it doesn't matter. He's not good enough anyway. For Portal says, could Lindelof play as a 6? But Matic is the best number 6, number 6 Leaf, but he's just obviously fallen off. Number 6 is the engine of the team. Himanshu, yes, they are. You can't carry a number 6, and I think that's probably the statement of the day. You cannot carry a number 6. We call it Donut FC, we call it Bagel FC, we call it the Mint with the Hole, Polo FC, but the reality is you can't carry a number 6. It's the engine of the room. And Michael Carrick was brilliant at it. Roy Keane was brilliant at it. Rodri's brilliant at it for Man City. There are others. You are the dictator. You are the conductor. You are the conductor of the orchestra. And you can have the best saxophone or trumpet player in the world, Ronaldo, but if your conductor's not conducting well, the tempo won't be right. And that's the best way. If you know anything about music, and that's why I'm doing that, the conductor, he can have the best bass player, the best cello player, the best drummer, the best whatever. But if your conductor's slow and missing a beat, your whole team, your whole orchestra's not going to play the tune you want. And this is what Ollie hopefully has realised. The conductor is the number 6. They conduct the team. You can't carry a number 6. You can't put somebody in there and go, oh, they can do a job. It's not a role where you do a job. It's a role where you're good. And Matic is the best one we've got, but unfortunately I think he's past it. So therefore, we are scratching around. And that's why I think people are going, McTominay's our best number 6, because they're hoping that he is, because Fred's been crap. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by either of them. Ollie's the conductor and he's seriously out of tune. Well, Ollie doesn't play games, MK. Once you pick the team, anybody who's been a coach or manager will tell you, once you've picked a team, there's not a lot you can do. Your captain, your leaders on the pitch can change things on the pitch. You can't really do a hell of a lot from the side, especially if you don't make any subs. Mode says that Roy Keane said it's the easiest role to play because only need brain rather than physical. Yeah. Don't know whether you're saying I'm wrong or right on that, Mode, but Roy Keane was talking about physicality. He was talking about fitness. He said that it's the easiest role to play because it's all about your brain and what you do. I play number 6 when I play football still because, I'm getting on. I can't play box to box. I can't really play centre back. I can play as a 6 because I position myself. I basically draw a square. I've got my defenders about 5-10 metres behind me, and then I've got a square in front of me, which is basically about 20 metres wide there. And I'm very rarely going to go out of it. And that's why Roy Keane's right. Physically, a number 6 position is quite easy because you don't run forward and back. You patrol a particular area, and then when you're in that box, you stand in that box and you take the ball off the back foot and you give it quickly to everybody else. Roy Keane's spot on. Physically, fitness-wise, it's probably the easiest position to play. But mentally, it's the hardest position to play because you've got to take up the space and you've got to move the ball and you've got to find the angles. And one thing you've got to be is a baller. You've got to be a baller and you've got to be able to read the game. And that's why Carrick was very good at it. So you're right. You're absolutely spot on there. Physically and fitness-wise, it's the easiest position. Responsibility-wise, it's the hardest position. You are the metronome. You are the conductor. And you've got to do that job well. And also, defensively, you're there to position yourself to protect your back four. It's not about tackling. It's about position. It's about cutting passing lanes. It's about picking up runners. It's about organisation. It's a very important position with a lot of responsibility. And I hope McTominay grabs that position and makes it himself, or Fred, or Donny, or somebody, because we bloody need somebody to do it. But at the moment, I'm not convinced by any of our options, to be honest. Rate McTominay, but he is a versatile player and not a specialist, says Steve Locke. When I see versatile, I see a squad player. Yeah, I agree. He's a John O'Shea, isn't he? He's that sort of player. I think you missed £50 super chat from someone, says Savat. And it was from Kimber Rothwell. I fear that by the time Ollie works our current situation for CDM... I fear that by the time Ollie works out our current solution for CDM is not right for us, Ronaldo, Bruno, Pogba and Varane will be another year older and our window of opportunity to win a title with this group will pass us by. Well, you know what, Kimber? I think that's always been the case, hasn't it? I think that's why so many United fans wanted a midfielder, because we couldn't see the solution, but we could see the promise of the team around it. Hopefully Ollie's got the solution and we've just not seen it yet, because if it is what we fear, that we don't actually have somebody good enough, then it will stop us achieving what we could achieve with the players around it. But hopefully Ollie's got a solution. Mark, FIFA 22 going to be amazing on PS5, mate, says Martin M. He's loving the PS5 FIFA 22 chat, isn't he? Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. We will have a show tonight, but it will be at 7 o'clock because England are playing tonight and I'm doing a watch-along for England versus Poland tonight, which you can join me for on That's Football. So make sure you smash a like on video and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And do download the OneFootball app. The link is in the video description. You get all your football news, all your football scores, all your football stats free on Apple and Android. Give it a download. I've got a good video coming up for you at about 2 o'clock as well. I'll speak to you all soon. Have a good day, evening, whatever you're doing. Take care. And I really enjoyed the Martial and McTominay debate. That's what this is all about. Thanks for watching. And get your comments in below.